All right. Hello, hello, hello. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Happy Sunday morning to you. I'm ready for a nap. I'm just glad that you all came. We're looking forward to having this time. Even before I arrived at Crossroads in 2005, Crossroads was supporting a group called Advice and Aid in many different ways. And I remember even in children's ministry, we did a supply drive. It seems like we went there and did a service project or two. I remember once going with a youth group, and we kind of sorted a closet. They had a bunch of supplies and baby supplies and food supplies and different things, and we kind of sorted things out and put them where they should go. I remember doing that. Walk for Life is a program. It's a fundraising program that they do, and I remember participating one time when it happened at Swarner Park. Does anybody remember doing that once in a while? And it was like, I feel like it was at night. Like it feels like it was like 9:30 at night or something like that. And we walked around the park, and I think once it was like raining on us or something like that, and it was miserable and fun at the same time. Anyway, the missions ministry has been involved for a long time, donating money to the Walk for Life program and trying to help raise money for that. We did a coordination of a supply drive and service projects there as well. From that, we've actually had 2 or 3 different volunteers from church that just liked the ministry so much they continually got involved in that, and they followed through with that on their own personal time, which was kind of what we were hoping for, and that's been good. And then Pam Spencer, who attends church here, she actually worked there for a little while, and so we've had a lot of loose connections with Advice and Aid. Even as recently as 2021, you remember the Tony Anderson Fund helped us to do a Walk for Life, and we had over 100 people attend that walk, and it was just fun because of we were able to honor Tony and support the ministry of Advice and Aid. So the question is, so what is Advice and Aid? Well, that's why we're here tonight. And rather than me try to say the right words, Melody Throckmorton is going to come up in just a little bit, and she is going to share with us about the purpose, about the ministries, how they support people, and how maybe a couple of the stories involved with Advice and Aid. So welcome, Melody Throckmorton.
Hi. Hello, my name, just like you heard, is Melody. I'm the Special Events and Community Outreach Coordinator at Advice and Aid Pregnancy Centers. I've been there just about 2 years and 7 months, and it has been a journey, and it is only getting increasingly crazier as we go on throughout the years and stuff. So thank you for having me. We've always loved Crossroads and all of the support you guys have done for us, and we couldn't be more grateful. So thank you for having me come and talk with you. So, okay, great. So, to answer the question of what is Advice and Aid, we are a nonprofit pregnancy resource center located in Overland Park, Kansas, right on 435 and Rowe Avenue. And we offer a variety of different free services to help and empower families in an unplanned pregnancy. We are located right next door to an abortion clinic, one of the largest abortion providers in the Midwest. And so a lot of our days look like people coming in that think we are the abortion clinic, or just a lot of very fearful people. And so our job is to help them realize the blessing in their situation, even though they might not see it in this moment in time. And so our mission statement is Advice and Aid exists to encourage women and families facing an unplanned pregnancy to choose life by serving them before, during, and after with Christ-like compassion. And our vision is to make abortion unthinkable, one life at a time. And so the next slide here is going to be a video explaining just the overall general Advice and Aid.
In 1983, a group of individuals met and felt like they wanted to do something to help women who were facing an unplanned pregnancy and were considering abortion. And for the last 38 years, we have been serving women and families facing an unplanned pregnancy with Christ-like compassion. But it wasn't until 2016 that we moved next door to the largest abortion clinic in the Kansas City metro. And since then, our lives Advice and Aid have never been the same. There are many myths out there about pregnancy centers. One is that we're not an actual medical facility. Well, we are. We have a doctor whose medical license oversees everything that we do at Advice and Aid. We have licensed nurses who work here to provide medical advice to the clients that they meet with, and to provide our sonograms, to do our STD testing and treatment, to do our abortion pill reversal, and the other services that we have.
The first step when a woman comes in to see us is a pregnancy test. If she's pretty sure about her dates, we're able to do a sonogram in most cases at no cost to her on that same day. It's just amazing to see what's going on inside your own body. That's impressive, and it makes an impression on them. However, when they leave here, their situation often is the same. Nothing's changed except maybe how they feel about it. And so that's why it's really important for them to keep coming back. And we have services all along the pregnancy and up to 2 years afterwards. We're not there just for that moment when she sees her baby. We're there with her for the long haul. We're able to test for two of the most common STIs, gonorrhea and chlamydia, and we're able to use the same urine that we used to do the pregnancy test. You shouldn't even think about opening up the womb in an abortion if you have an infection, an active infection. So we're able to test for those infections and treat them here, and we're able to treat women's partners for free as well.
We just want our clients to feel as safe and comfortable and loved as possible and supported. And then once they do feel comfortable, they can feel empowered to kind of handle their situation head on rather than continue to act out of the fear that they're experiencing. We also offer post-abortion assessment, which is a medical routine. And then we also offer post-abortion counseling.
My role is to assess what parents may need, help them to be able to see what they might need, because lots of times they don't. They think they just need health insurance. Maybe they need a job. Helping them to identify that, walking that journey with them, finding those resources, giving them that support, building them up, building up their self-esteem, their confidence in being able to be parents.
One of the jobs that I do here is to talk with any of the dads that show up with their partner. The mother is pregnant. It is my privilege to be able to talk with these guys, to sit there and to start with listening, just to hear out their story. What is going on? What do they think they need to do next? Some of the dads, they reply with, I need to buckle down and figure out a way to make this work. And I get the opportunity to applaud that.
At the end of the day, what do I want for the women, the men that come to Advice and Aid? I want them to experience hope and grace, truth and love.
5-minute nutshell there. So just to list out all of our services that are consistently at no cost to our clients for you. We have medical grade pregnancy testing and limited ultrasounds. Our ultrasounds are limited because we're only looking for 3 things in them: whether the baby is inside the uterus, whether there is a heartbeat, and her exact date. So how far along she is in her pregnancy. We can't diagnose anything. We refer those on to our medical director. We also offer STI testing and treatment. This is twofold. 1, we want to ensure the mom is as healthy as possible, especially if she is pregnant. 2, this actually gets her to come back and slow down even further, to actually think about the situation she's in, hopefully calm down a little bit more, and not make a decision out of fear, but one that she has thought through. And so getting treated for that STI that she may have tested positive for, or even just waiting for the results, allows her to kind of take that time to slow down. We have early pregnancy consultation, which is going to look very similar to your first doctor's appointment at your OBGYN, except this is just with a nurse and our case manager to go over any information you may need right then and there before you take your first sonogram with a licensed medical doctor, and then also meeting with our case manager to see any resources that she may need, whether she needs financial resources, housing resources, anything, you name it, our case manager can help her with that as well. We have post-abortion assessment, which is our medical routine, basically just checking vitals and doing another ultrasound for a post-abortive woman to ensure that she is in a healthy state still. And then this also segues to have her come back to take some of our post-abortion counseling classes with our Awakenings team. And so we do still really love and care for the mom that is post-abortive, and that is still an opportunity for her to come back and experience God's love as well. So we want to make sure that they know that they are not condemned, just the exact opposite. We want them to come back as well so we can love on them if they have had an abortion. The abortion pill reversal protocol is another medical routine that is a little bit more extensive than the ones that we offer. So if someone takes the abortion pill at the abortion clinic, they do have the opportunity to reverse that. And what that looks like is when they take the abortion pill, they take one pill at the clinic, and that pill blocks progesterone receptors inside the woman. And anyone who's had a baby knows that that is what gives your baby nutrients. So after about 48 hours, the baby dies, and they take a second pill at home to induce uterine contractions and expel everything. If they don't take that second pill, they can come to Advice and Aid and try to reverse that process. And what that looks like is meeting with our medical director and flooding her body with the progesterone that her body is currently trying to block. It's about a few weeks. It takes about a few weeks for her body to start making her own progesterone, and she is always being seen under a doctor in that first few weeks. This is about a 60% success rate. It's something that the women have to take every single day and make sure that they're staying on top of it. They definitely do have to fight for their child's life in that moment, but we have plenty of stories of Advice and Aid clients who have children now that have taken the abortion pill reversal protocol. So it's a great service. We have case management, like I said earlier. Basically, any resource a woman is going to need, we will be able to help her with because we have 2 licensed social workers in-house as well. Pregnancy and parenting education classes, this is called Connections. They meet weekly every Monday evening, and there they can learn all kinds of valuable information about pregnancy, parenting, and also life skills. People have come in and taught them resume building courses and interviewing skills. Some people have even taught them how to change the oil in their car. And so just kind of teaching them life skills to equip them and empower them in their pregnancy, even though it may be unplanned. These are kind of designed to teach them that life doesn't stop if you are accidentally pregnant. At those classes, they can also receive material aid, so diapers, wipes, pack and plays, high chairs. They rarely need high chairs, but car seats. That is stuff that they can receive at these education classes as well. Every quarter, we have childbirth education classes so women know what to expect in labor. And then we also have Baby Prep 101 classes that meet monthly. And they go over very specific topics over pregnancy or early parenting, just to ensure that they are equipped and prepared for their baby when they come. And they do not have to be attending Connections to attend the Baby Prep 101 classes. They can also stay in Connections for up to their child's 3rd birthday. So 2 complete years, and if our clients get pregnant in that time, that 2 years restarts if they wanted to. If they want to continue to stay with Advice and Aid, we have people that have like 6-year-olds that are still utilizing our services, and that's great. That's what they're there for. Not listed there is Awakenings, which is our post-abortion healing, counseling, and Bible study. And so we usually start it with not introducing them to the Bible study yet because a lot of the time they aren't believers and we don't want them to sprint out the door. We want them to receive healing and then slowly start bringing the gospel into that, just to kind of meet them where they're at first. But that is a service that we offer for our post-abortion mothers as well. And so this next video is of a client who is now in our Connections class, who was one of our COVID clients, and she had a pretty intense story. And so
Okay, so it was my final semester of prereqs for nursing school. I was doing really well in nursing school. I've always been like an AB student. I found out I was pregnant. I told my current boyfriend at the time, and he immediately told me no, just to have an abortion. And after that, just didn't sit right with me, and I just kind of spiraled into depression. I just stopped going to school, and I eventually just dropped out of school. And I went to Advice and Aid because I thought it was like an abortion clinic, but come to find out it was much more than just a clinic that gives out information. I had no insurance either, so they gave me like my first ultrasound. I was able to hear like I can't talk. I heard my son's heartbeat for the first time. And I still get emotional just from thinking about it. I wasn't a mother yet, but I still felt this urge to protect this little child that I didn't even know yet. And that's exactly what I did. And I'm still doing. Kim was the one that just reached out to me and kept reaching out to me until I finally answered. And we were able to just talk. The first time that I held my son, I just couldn't stop thanking God for the opportunity and for letting me like be a mom. It was definitely like one of the best days of my life.
So what I love about her is I actually saw her. She was my client in 2020. Oh, that's right. It's finicky. And after her sonogram, I had asked her if she still wanted abortion information because we saved that for after the sonogram. So at Advice and Aid, we will explain to our clients what type of abortion they would get and just kind of what to expect in that procedure as well. And so I asked her if she wanted that info, and she said yes to tell my boyfriend why I'm not getting one. And it was just really powerful because she came in feeling immense pressure from her partner to abort. She says in the beginning she thought that's what she was going to do that day and just didn't want to. So in that moment, she needed services that empowered her capabilities to be a mother and to feel empowered in the situation, not services that just kind of affirm her fear. And so I love looking at stories like that. If you want to see more stories like that, we have a ton listed on our website, and they're worth a few minutes just going through some of them because they're really powerful. If you want to get involved with Advice and Aid more, receive more information, receive up-to-date information, our Facebook for our supporters is called Friends of Advice and Aid, and our Instagram, again, for the community is Advice Aid Events. So that's where you're going to get the most up-to-date info. If you want more information about upcoming events, anything related to your church or outreach thing, anything like that, you can email me at mthrockmorton@adviceandaid.com, which is right there. And if you're interested in volunteering, we don't have too many volunteer opportunities open right now, but there are some like office help things and stuff like that. So if you want to see which openings are available, Mary Newcomer is our volunteer coordinator, and her email is volunteer@adviceandaid.com. I can also email anyone this slide if you wanted to like post it somewhere and come back to it. Let me know. But that is all I have before kind of giving the floor to open up any questions. I think Pastor Brad wanted to join me up here for that.
All right, so figure there are some questions that different ones out here would have. So we want to give that opportunity. So while you're thinking about what your questions might be, let me throw one out to you, Melody. Because you said something in your introduction about before, during, and after, and then the nurse that was in the video said something about for 2 years after. So what I want to ask, because this is where some of the criticism comes directed at Christians, is that, hey, we're all about people who need to have the babies, and then we forget all about them. What is that 2 years or whatever stretch of time afterwards that you're specific? I know you touched on some of that, but.
to use our services, they are more than welcome to for up to 2 full years, so their child's 3rd birthday. That's where they can come to Connections, and they are hooked up for however many diapers they'll need, however many wipes they need. We give them baby clothing every holiday, including like Mother's Day, Thanksgiving, Christmas. We bless them with another extra thing too. And in this moment, they can have community with other people who were facing an unplanned pregnancy, in addition to just continuously learning about how to be the best equipped mom and parents in that moment, because the dads are upstairs learning how to be the best equipped father and leader in their family too. And so, yeah, like I mentioned earlier, if they get pregnant again, that race starts too. So the notion that we only care about the birth of the child is simply false, especially if they don't want to be a mother, but they choose adoption. Then we have referrals to Zoe's House and other different adoption agencies in the world, and we'll be that bridge so that they can receive their care as well. And so it's simply false. We care about both of them at all times and want to ensure that they're both in the best condition.
Okay, very good. Because that invariably, you know, if you're active in speaking your convictions and in love and all, you're going to get some kickback, and that's going to be one of the criticisms that you're going to get. So appreciate you sharing that, because it equips us a little bit more with being able to answer that when it happens. All right, so questions.
My question is, on average, how many women does Advice and Aid help in a week, a month, a year?
2021 impact report so I could answer these types of questions. So weekly, we see about, or on a monthly basis, I'm not actually sure about weekly, but on a monthly basis, we'll see about 90 to 100 pregnancy tests. And then in 2021, we served 948 clients for the entire year.
So 2 questions. The first one, do you serve clients in both Kansas and Missouri, or are you mostly just Kansas? Okay.
Being right on Rowe Avenue there, it's super close to state lines, so we have a ton of Kansas City independents, Liberty people, especially because abortion hasn't been happening in Missouri for some time now, not even just recently, and so we've always had Missouri clients. We have Nebraska clients, now we have Oklahoma and Texas clients, and we have Arkansas clients sometimes, so a ton.
My second question was, in the last couple weeks, well, there it goes again, what have you guys been experiencing? Like, I know local laws have or have not changed depending on where you're at. Have you seen an increase in people calling for consultations? How has your world changed in the last couple weeks?
So I would say that the biggest change is the amount of out-of-state clients that we have now, in addition to the amount of clients, for lack of better term, freaking out now. Tensions are definitely higher than they were in the past few weeks. Nothing bad has happened to our center, praise God. We've had some chalk, but that like washes right off, and then the weird phone calls every now and again, but again, whatever. And so nothing crazy like that, but I would say mostly it's just an increase of clients, number one, and then an increase in their stress and their anxiety in those moments. They are more hasty to get an abortion now than they ever have been.
Okay, so the question on the last couple weeks obviously tied to the Supreme Court and what happened there, and I figured that question was going to be asked because in the national news we do hear some of the things that have happened in different places. Now, I find it interesting and not surprising, though, that you say Nebraska, Missouri, Arkansas. Before I came here, our church, we were instrumental in Western Illinois in starting one of the few downstate crisis pregnancy centers, and because there was an abortion clinic right there in our small town, and we found the same thing, that people from Iowa and Missouri and Chicago, that those were the primary areas that people were coming. And I think there's multiple reasons for that. One is the word hadn't gotten out that they're pregnant yet and all, so they don't want to do anything locally, so they're going to go further away.
I just was wondering, do you have enough staff now to handle all the women that are coming to you?
I think so.
Okay, you don't ever have to tell people come back tomorrow.
No,
Good.
usually no, especially because we have volunteers as well, volunteer client advocates. So we usually have at least 4 or 5 people that can meet with a client right then and there.
Great.
I'm always pulled when there's like no client advocates left. That's when I get my own personal client advocate stories, but that only happens like once every few weeks. It's never super common, but then no, we've never really turned away a client, told them to come back.
And are you prepared if things change in the country and you get an influx? Will you adapt quickly?
Yes.
I just want to make sure everybody's getting service.
No, I appreciate that. Thank you. We actually were blessed so the building that we currently occupy, we were occupying only the basement for the longest time, but the transportation company that took upstairs left, and so now we own the whole building. And so with that, we've been able to have conversations about expanding services, hiring more staff. So yes, right now we're doing good. And then if we're not, of course, that's when Pastor Brad gets an email from me like, hey, can you tell your church we need help right now? And so, but yes, thank you for asking though. Right now, we're good.
Yeah, and if laws do end up changing in Kansas, it can increase then.
Yes, I would argue that if abortion gets stricter in Kansas, that people will need our services even more, actually. A lot of people have been saying it'll be the opposite because some people think people won't get pregnant if abortion's illegal, and that's not what happens. They do still get pregnant a lot, and so they will still need our services even more now, especially case management, early pregnancy, consultation, and all of those services.
Okay, very good. All right, someone else. Oh, we got a couple here off the center aisle.
Sorry. If a woman has a baby and then decides she doesn't want anymore, do you offer contraceptive to help her so she doesn't get pregnant again?
We currently do not offer contraception as one of our services. That may be something looked at in the future, but that is a little bit more controversial service, and because we have such a large amount of supporters, we try to just stay clear from anything that could upset any of our supporters. We do try to encourage them to have an attitude of, if I'm not ready to be a parent, maybe I shouldn't have sex, but that's about it as far as pregnancy prevention.
How effective is the abortion pill? What are the side effects? Can you buy them at a local pharmacy? Can you order them from a blue state? And can a state stop them from coming in?
What was the first one? I'm so sorry. How effective is the abortion pill?
Yes.
I don't have that exact statistic. I think very effective. I mean, there are cases where babies have survived the abortion pill, but I think overall it's a pretty effective. I think it's in the 90%. But since we don't provide abortion, me personally, I do have staff members that would be able to answer that question right then and there, but I just focus on advice and aid. I don't tend to focus on the abortion stats. But the second one was, can they get them at pharmacies? Side effects. Oh my gosh, the side effects are crazy. I do know this one from clients. So it's very intense cramping, very intense bleeding. Sometimes just to calm their nerves, they'll be told that it's similar to a period, but it's much more severe than that because you're inducing uterine contractions to expel, a baby, not just a uterine lining. And so it's a lot more intense. Some people bleed for several days. There can be some cases where the pill doesn't work, meaning it doesn't expel everything, and they have to take even more pills and just kind of keep repeating that process of inducing uterine contractions until it's all out. Doing that can sometimes cause infection, and in your uterus, that's really bad. And so death is pretty unlikely, but it has happened since you do bleed so much. So there are a lot of really unsafe side effects. In my personal opinion, it's something that should be done under a doctor's care. I don't understand why people do it at home, especially since it's reported on how painful it is. But those are the side effects. No, you can't pick it up at a pharmacy. That is something that you have to go to an abortion provider for. I know that they are trying to make the abortion pill more accessible online. I don't know if that has been in effect yet. We have treated some clients that did order it online, but I didn't know their story much more beyond that. And I also have no idea if people are stopping them from coming in, like if they ordered it from a state where it's totally legal. So I do know that you can't take the abortion pill after 10 weeks. And so, and abortion in Kansas is legal till 21. So in Kansas specifically, they probably wouldn't have a need to buy it from outside state unless the laws change. But were there any more? Did I get it? Okay, cool.
So let me piggyback on that because I don't know if it was in the video or you were talking about it, but you know, when someone's had an abortion pill, reversing that, you know, the abortion pill is supposed to cut off whatever within 2 days, 48 hours.
Yes.
So what is the time frame of when it's been too long?
The sooner the better, obviously, but after 72 hours, it's most likely too late unless a miracle happens to use the protocol, the reversal protocol.
Okay. All right. Any other questions? Yes.
I'm just curious about how many of the women keep the babies and how many put them up for adoption. And I think you also said that you use several different adoption agencies.
Yes,
that you're
we
from
do. So adoption is the least chosen option of their three easily. Let me see if we have, in 2021, we only had one baby placed for adoption, and we had 246 babies born. Now, a lot of our 2022 babies counted as people that got pregnant in 2021 as well. And so I would say from my personal experience on whether or not a client chooses to keep her baby is about 50-50 all of the time. It just depends on her emotional state, how hardened her heart is, and just what her circumstances are like, and if she's willing to feel impacted by her sonogram and just kind of soften her heart towards the situation. Happens about 50% of the time, in my personal experience. The exact success rate, since people get pregnant like all the time throughout the year and we track things on a yearly basis, can be a little bit not as crystal clear as some statistical data because of just the timing. But out of 948 clients served in 2021, 246 babies were born. But that number is not super clear because someone could have come in December 24th. Just kidding, we're closed on Christmas Eve, but December 21st. And that would count as a 2022 baby, but a 2021 client. So I don't have a super crystal clear answer, but in my conversations with clients, yes, about half the time.
Could you talk to us about the value of them both amendment? What that entails and what will change in the state of Kansas if that is approved by the voters?
Yes. I was planning on talking about that.
We were having a little powwow before. And,
if there's any more questions.
I was going to, when that question, because I knew that question would come up, I was going to say off limits until later. But yeah, we're certainly going to get to that, and I'm fine if you want to go ahead and.
None about advice and aid before moving on to value them both.
Do you serve minors?
Yes, we do. We had an 11-year-old the other day. But yes, we do serve minors. So there are some circumstances where the police need to get involved. Obviously, 11-year-old is one of those circumstances, but 17, if it's consensual, if their partner's underage, 2, then well, 16 is the age of consent, so actually that's fine, but we still keep a close eye on those. But yes, with minors, we always, if the situation allows, get someone else involved, some authority figure. But yes, we do.
I guess kind of goes along with that. Does very often the extended family, like the parents of the girl or whatever, get involved in the whole process and they're to support her?
Yes, yes, that does happen a lot. Yes. Usually women either come alone or with the father of the baby, so I don't see it, but a lot of clients always talk about their mom is supportive, their dad's supportive. So yes, usually they have a support system, sometimes they don't. At least a maternal figure is usually in their life still, and is usually supportive of whatever decision. So actually, if they're coming in and they want an abortion, their mom's usually supportive of that too. Or vice versa, if they want to keep the baby, their mom's equally excited about the baby too. So,
thanks, Kurt. What kind of needs do you have for the dads?
what kind of needs do we have?
Or are you guys hurting for more interactions with the fathers, or are you doing well? Do you need help in that area?
We actually, I know I mentioned earlier that we don't need any volunteers, but we actually do need male client advocates, because we have clients, advocates, to meet specifically with the dads, to have conversations with them when they first come in while the mom's getting her medical services done. And so too many times we have like a gap in between male client advocates because we have so few, and where like 3 dads come in and there's a missed opportunity for a conversation there. So I would say our need for dads right now is just other dads to meet with them. Actually, you don't even need to be a dad, because the guy who runs it all, Jonathan, who is on there, he's not a dad. So, yes, just more men.
You said that you guys give stuff to those that need it, like the diapers and things like that. Is that stuff that's donated, or like the clothing? Do you take used stuff, or is it mainly new stuff and just donations?
Yes, it's all new. We require it to be brand new, like in the packaging and everything. And yes, they're usually donated either from church drives, or someone went on our Amazon wish list and purchased everything. That has happened quite a few times lately, but yes. So usually donated, every time new.
So some of us, when we had kids, used cloth diapers and plastic pants. Would you use that if we donate? No.
Probably not, no.
So, and forgive me if you answered this, but I may have missed it. When they were interviewing the gal up there in the video, you talked to her about abortion afterwards as an option. And I was just curious if that was a legal obligation, or what the benefit was in that, or, yeah.
Yeah, so one of our services is abortion information, meaning if a client has questions about the procedure, how much it costs usually, what to expect, we can answer those. And we have literature for her to take home, just to ensure that she is very aware of everything to expect. Because we've heard too many times from clients that if they had known it was going to be that, they wouldn't have done it. And so we just like to ensure that our clients know what they're getting themselves into. Sometimes when they find out what the procedure actually is, that can change their mind in and of itself, not realizing quite how intrusive it is. But yes, that is one of the services. And it just allows another conversation to talk freely about abortion, talk freely about her situation through a lens of trying to calm her fear rather than affirm it, and rather than say like, yeah, you're right, you should get an abortion, your situation sucks. It kind of allows, if you don't want to go through the situation, we have services that can help you overcome this situation so we can still do this situation. So that's why we talk to them about abortion, just so they're not deceived and know everything to expect should they choose that option.
A good friend of mine in Illinois, she heads up the center that got started there. And she has shared more than once the number of people that when the procedure of an abortion is actually explained, you know, it just blows some people away because they're totally clueless just as to what it actually entails.
So what are ways as a church that we can be supportive of advice and aid? We've done drives in the past, not recently. That's something we can do. Do you still do the baby bottle campaign?
Yes, that was going to be my answer, actually. I think the easiest way for like the entire church to get involved is, and the most beneficial way for us too, is a baby bottle campaign, which if you're unfamiliar is when you come, or I bring over empty baby bottle banks that you can fill with coins. Some people just write a check and stick it in there, and then you keep those for a month and then give them back. And that's like a congregation-wide fundraiser almost. That's, yeah, like I said, usually the easiest and most efficient way for churches to get involved. Some churches, though, like to get creative and do their own fundraisers and give those proceeds to Advice and Aid as well. And then a rep can come and talk and kind of share more info about our ministry too. But yeah, I would say a baby bottle campaign.
I know you talked about the clients getting the free diapers and stuff. I know they used to earn those. Do they still do that?
So with the closing of our Shawnee office during COVID, we closed that and we're all just in our Overland Park office now. Patty's Closet also went with that too. So that was the little store where they earned it with points. Now we just give it to them. I think they do have to sign up for their exact needs, but there's no earning system. They do still need to come to Connections though. They can't come grab diapers and leave. You gotta sit down, get the info. But yeah, so we just give it to them now.
Okay, these have all been, except for that one, all of these have been good questions.
You mentioned needing male client advocates. What are like the qualifications or maybe requirements is a better word for that you look for if a guy was wanting to sign up to help with that?
I think just someone passionate about giving people advice, counseling other men specifically. Jonathan is perfect for the role, even though he's not a father, because he's very passionate about the family unit and being devoted to his wife and just cultivating their future as parents by being such a loving husband. And so he looks for client advocates that kind of have the same quality, just people passionate in preserving the family unit, whether it's needing to empower the father who's just letting the woman do whatever she wants to and doesn't feel confident enough to use their voice, or whether it's having him calm down and encouraging her to speak up more rather than him dictating what is going on in the situation. So just kind of volleyballing back and forth between that type of conversation. I would email Mary to connect you with Jonathan, and he can give way better detail than what I just gave on exactly what that entails and what would be needed out of you. I know you have to agree with our statement of faith, which that's to volunteer anyway, which is very similar to Apostles' Creed, so hopefully you guys are good there. But other than that, I think that would be a Jonathan question. And again, volunteer@adviceandaid.com is that email, so it's pretty easy to remember. Sorry, what was the next question?
I just had a follow-up question about donations. Like you mentioned clothing and diapers. How about formula? Is that something that you guys get donations of or are seeking donations? Because I know right now there's a shortage.
We do accept formula donations if they are unopened and new. I have to clarify that because we have had opened formula before. But yes, we do accept, though. I don't know if it's a need right now because when that shortage happened, a lot of people were very generous in donating to our clients. But if you want to get in contact later, call the office and ask for me. I can connect with Tiffany to see if that's a need right now, too.
Oh, yeah, value them both. Just fill us in on that.
Yes, so I have here, and Mark, I might need your help with this. The slide itself is a link, so I don't know if you can like right-click to it and then open it, but it is a minute-long video that Value Them Both put together, just explaining the amendment in very plain, clean English that I am incapable of doing. And then we can go with questions from there because they do it much more concise than I'm capable of, if you couldn't tell by me answering questions and still talking now.
Why does Kansas need the Value Them Both Amendment? In 2019, the Kansas Supreme Court ruled that the Kansas Constitution contains a nearly unlimited right to abortion. This ruling endangers all common sense limits on the abortion industry in Kansas, including bans on taxpayer-funded abortions, limits on partial birth and late-term abortion, parental consent requirements for minors, even the mother's right to know about her own health risks. While Value Them Both won't stop all abortions, it does allow elected officials to pass common sense limits on the abortion industry, just as they have for over 25 years. Value Them Both protects women and preborn babies from an unregulated abortion industry. It also restores your voice and ensures that our current laws aren't overturned. On August 2nd, 2022, vote with moms and babies. Vote for Value Them Both. To learn more, visit valuethemboth.com.
So in a nutshell, in a melodized nutshell, Value Them Both just ensures that the current laws that we have right now remain protected, because right now they're eligible to be sued with the Constitution having a right to abortion, and that falls under the pursuit of happiness being listed in the Constitution is where they say abortion falls under the pursuit of happiness. And so with Value Them Both, it allows lawmakers to ensure that those laws stay in place so that it doesn't continue to spiral and abortion be like a lawless thing in Kansas. It's been described that if Value Them Both doesn't get passed, it'll become like an abortion destination in Kansas, because those laws banning late-term abortion, preventing minors from getting abortions without their parents' consent are all up to be sued and overturned. Any questions? So vote yes, unless you don't like anything that I just said and you're entitled, but you should vote yes, because it really does value both the mom and the unborn baby to ensure that even if they do choose abortion, it's safe. There's not just random unchecked abortions happening, unregulated abortions.
Today I Googled valuethemboth.com, I think it was, and there's like 10 or maybe a dozen questions, and you click on them and you get, paragraphs of answers and a lot of information there. I learned a lot more than what I knew yesterday as far as this particular thing goes. So, but yeah, remember August 2nd. Yeah, this is one of the ways to take it out of the hands of judges, because they could establish the precedent here. And by making this vote, then the population has the opportunity to dictate how this is going to be approached in the future. Kansas hasn't got the best reputation, as far as this goes. I mean, I remember back in the 80s, Wichita was the spot that perhaps, I don't know if this is completely accurate, but it very well could be, late-term abortions. That was the spot, and people were coming from all over the country to go to Wichita. You might remember Tillman, I think was, did I say that wrong? Tiller was the doctor there, and I know Colette's grandma was living back in those days, and when we were down in Wichita, I'd go over there and see, because there was a lot of action, a lot of picketing and stuff like that was going on at that time. Now, I don't know. It may be right across the street from you, may be the central place now. I don't know. But Kansas has had a reputation there, regarding this for a long time, and Value Them Both can certainly be the first step in changing that.
Well, thank you again. I love talking to churches, and so this was a treat. I really appreciate you inviting me out.
Very good. Thank you, Melody, for coming. And a lot of good questions, except for that one that were asked. So appreciate your participation. Obviously, a topic of interest, as it should be. So All right, let's go ahead and close out our time with prayer, okay? Father, we are thankful for the opportunity to be able to meet in your name, to be able to spend some time together, to be able to get educated a little bit more regarding this particular topic. We're so thankful for Advice and Aid and the people down through the years that have played key roles in its establishment and in working there, volunteering, even folks here in the church that have spent time volunteering, and the generosity that has been demonstrated time and time again. We're just so thankful for their work. We pray your blessing upon Advice and Aid, your protection, whereas we don't know what might be around the corner and what could happen or what harebrained thought someone could end up getting. And so, Lord, we do pray for your protection of Advice and Aid and all of those that work there and volunteer their time there. And we're just thankful for the privilege of being able to partner with them in a very important work. Father, use us, because a number of us in here will have opportunity within our extended family or our neighborhood or coworkers or something to cross paths with someone whose lives are being impacted by an unexpected pregnancy. And the topic may come up, questions may be asked. Give us the words, Lord, and help us to be able to influence and point people in a good direction. And we're thankful that Advice and Aid is there, so that can certainly be part of that encouragement. Lord, watch over each one of us as we go from here, and bless Melody in her work as well. It's in Christ's name I pray. Amen.